Here is Kevin Kennedy and Rich Herrera with an Inside the Dugout quick fix.
Let me run through all of this for you. So we talk about luxury tax. It's not really called luxury tax. Its actual name is the competitive balance tax.
Right.
And this is from MLB.com. Those who carry payrolls above the threshold are taxed on each dollar above the threshold, and the tax rate increasing based on the number of consecutive years a club has exceeded that threshold. The threshold was $189 million in 14, 15, and 16, but the following increases were put together in this next collective bargaining agreement. So 2017, the luxury tax was $195 million. 218, it's 197. 219, it's 206, and so on and so forth. The reason I bring this up is there's a penalty that goes along with this as well. So if you're over the competitive balance tax, the luxury tax,
for simple terms, we call it the luxury tax.
The luxury tax. So the first time you're over the luxury tax, right? You get taxed 20% on all the overages. So if you spent more than $195 million, every dollar that you spend, you pay a 20-cent tax back to the rest of baseball.
Right. You're paying $1.20. That's what you're paying.
Okay. So when you exceed that threshold for the second consecutive year, that figure goes up to 30%. 3 or more straight seasons of exceeding that threshold comes to a 50% luxury tax. Now, here's the important thing for Dodger fans and Yankee fans as well.
Yep, that's right.
If you dip below that tax, you reset the clock. So if I'm above 1 year, I pay 20. I'm above 2 years, I pay 30. If I continue, I'm above 50, and I get to that 50 point, all I got to do is get below the threshold once, and I reset the tax back to 20%. Clubs that exceed that threshold by $20 million to $40 million are also subject to a 12% surtax. Meanwhile, those who exceeded by more than $40 million are taxed at 42.5% rate of the first 45% they exceed more than $40 million. In the beginning of 2018, clubs that were $40 million or more above the threshold shall have their highest selection in the Rule 4 draft move back 10 places unless the pick falls into the top 6. So if you're way above this luxury tax, the way the Dodgers have been 5 straight years, Yankees have been 15 straight years, you got to get right under the CBA.
Inside the Dugout with Kevin Kennedy and Rich Herrera can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and RadioInfluence.com.